to start this video, I just wanted to say to you guys, make sure you've checked out the Jermaine Defoe episode, which is already out on the channel. So go and check that out as soon as you watch this video. And also make sure to subscribe, get the notifications on, because we've got another episode of The Secret Scout coming out. And trust me, this one is sick. He is just a rock. He is walking aggression, walking tenacity, that real just urgency about defending. That's what Mengi is. He's got unreal speed. There's some clips going around of him chasing back from the halfway line and going to ground and winning it clean, which is always what you want to see as well. And getting right in front and taking it out.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to this week's episode of Gazzetta Dello FIVE. You got here myself, Joel Bayer, Stephen Howson, and the man in whom we trust, Mr. Fabrizio Romano. We've got another show coming out soon with Kieran Richardson called Ballers on Watches. That's too much of a preview. And then we've also got just more content, guys. So please stay tuned. I'm not trying to say too much. I just want you guys to stay tuned. And of course, let us know the questions that you got for Fabrizio. We will read them out at the end of this show. Okay, Steve, I'll let you start because there's a lot of news this week. And I know you're smiling. You might have something up your sleeve. Go on, mate.
I want to know what's going on with Ten Hag. And I'm just going to throw all of these at you and we'll just work through them. It looks like Ten Hag seems to be on its way to being done, I would say, to being a United new boss. But there's Robin van Persie, Rene Meulensteen, Steve McClaren's name being flung around as assistant. Fab, just talk to me. What is going on?
So what you said is 100% the reality. Erik ten Hag is getting closer and closer to become the new Manchester United manager. The agreement is really close. It's not signed or completed yet, but it's really close. They're discussing about final key points, final details. The feeling has always been positive since the first interview they had a few weeks ago. He's always been in the list since November with Ralf Rangnick, who is a big fan of Erik ten Hag and is convinced that he could be the right man for Man United. But same, of course, for the board, for the Glazer family. So they've been thinking of him for a long time. And in the first interview, the meeting was absolutely positive. The feelings were very, very good. His English level was very good, and this is an important point because last summer was not the same when he was meeting with Tottenham. So now looks really close, more than close, between Erik ten Hag and Manchester United. I say more than close and not 100% signed because it's not signed, or agreed yet because they're still discussing on some important points like the power that Erik ten Hag will have in the decisions at Manchester United. He's used it to work like this at Ajax, like deciding new signings, deciding the future of some players, contracts, many details that are completely different in Man United. So he wants to make sure that he will be involved in this process to rebuild Manchester United, to change Manchester United's situation. And it means player contracts, player decisions, new signings, budget, many points, and also coaching staff with names mentioned by you, Steve. For sure they've been sounded out, but one of the names is McClaren, that seems to be the most concrete right now in talks with Man United. But as I say, nothing 100% decided yet. But for sure, the plan is clear. They are going for Erik ten Hag, and they hope to get it done in the coming few days.
Look at him. Look at him. What about Van Persie? He's on the list as well, isn't he? So you've got him, and at the same time as well, you've got Rene Meulensteen as well. Is he going to be coming back, or what's going on with them?
Oh, they're speaking with some of them. They're speaking with some of people that are representing them. So it's absolutely normal that in this moment they're trying to sound out and understand who can be the right people to add to the coaching staff for Erik ten Hag. So it's part of the process. The names you mentioned, in particular, Robin van Persie, are possibilities, are real possibilities. But at the moment, they're still in the process with ten Hag himself. So the priority is to decide everything together, of course, with Erik ten Hag, and also to plan for something like summer signing budget. So they want to make sure that everything is fine with Erik ten Hag, and then they will complete the appointment also for these names that you mentioned. So nothing is on the verge of being completed with these names. McClaren has been concretely sent out a few days ago. So let's see what's next, but for sure they are planning for this rebuilding in the coming few weeks.
Steve McClaren's an absolute bolt out of the blue to be linked, I think. Wildly successful while he was here, really well liked as an assistant. Not quite as successful as a head coach, but certainly someone that people got a lot of time and respect for as an assistant. Ditto with Rene Meulensteen. I am a little bit on the excited side at the prospect of Rene Meulensteen coming back. Also in the last 24 hours or so, we've seen an explosion of names linked with United. Is there anything in this, or do you think it's papers and outlets just trying to mark off some names that might happen?
No, it's normal. I think it's absolutely normal because now with the new manager, they're going to check some of the names to decide together on some of the names. For example, I see some names that at the moment, from what I'm told, are not something concrete, like Declan Rice has always been top of the list for Man United, but there is no negotiation. There is nothing going on with West Ham. So at the moment, we can't say that they're negotiating with Declan Rice. He's always been top of the list, but at the moment, also after what David Moyes said a few days ago, it's not going to be easy. And same for Harry Kane with Tottenham. But there is a name, for example, Justin Timber from Ajax that is doing fantastic. He's a very talented centre-back and could be an option. He's one of the names that Manchester United are watching together with Akanji from Borussia Dortmund. So they will go for a centre-back, and these two names could be options. Then they will decide in the coming weeks when this Ten Hag deal will be done together, what kind of player they want to sign. But these are players they're exploring. I saw some reports on Phillips, could be a really interesting name in the midfield. And he's one of the names that Manchester United are monitoring, but at the moment is still nothing like close to be completed. At the moment it's important to discuss with the manager and to make sure, this is a key point for Erik Ten Hag, I'm told, and from people close to him, to make sure that he will decide together with the board. One of the biggest mistakes that Manchester United had was to decide some signings and then have players like Donny van de Beek not playing. And so this was a big mistake for the club. This is something that Erik Ten Hag can't accept because he's used to work in this way, very clear with the board, in a very direct relationship, and this is what he wants to sign the contract. So these are the key points, the final points they are discussing before getting it done.
Wow. I've also seen in the papers that there is actually a United new deputy football director that they're looking to hire. Now, candidates such as Paul Mitchell have actually popped up. Could you tell us a little bit more about that, please?
Yeah, it's always been linked because he's really close to Ralf Rangnick. He's a big friend of Ralf Rangnick. They work together to watch a youth league game with Ralf Rangnick, so the relationship is very good. But at the moment, I'm still not sure that will be him. It's something that's always been in the air, but at the moment, I'm still not sure that he will be the main candidate. For sure, it could be a really interesting one because he did a very good job with Monaco. Of course, this season was not the best one, but on long term, this is how you judge a director and not just in the final season. He was doing pretty good, so he could be one of the candidates, but at the moment, I'm told that he's still not imminent. So let's see if Ralf Rangnick will push for him. Ralf Rangnick's opinion has been really important in this choice of the manager, because we had some rumors about him, his future, but he was suggesting Ten Hag since a long time, approving Ten Hag since a long time, and so he was pushing for him because he's convinced the right man for Man United. So I'm sure that Ralf Rangnick's opinion will be important.
I do hope United do get the structure of whatever's going on in the back room correct. The idea of Paul Mitchell excites me as much as the idea of Ten Hag, but I think we all would agree they have to be given the power to make the changes that they see. There's no point anybody coming in and just being a job if the people that have been in charge for the last decade are still going to be in charge. I'm fully prepared to see how it goes with Richard Arnold. From what I can see happening so far, I think he's already doing a better job than Woodward did by leaving the football decisions to football people. I just hope that this continues.
This is a very key point. I 100% agree with you, Steve. I think this is the real change because you mentioned the manager, of course, is important. Is the face of the project. Is going to be more than important. And I think Ten Hag would be the perfect appointment for Man United. But at the same point, how they can work, the director, the manager, this is super important. Imagine that the structure at Ajax with Erik Ten Hag was Erik Ten Hag and Mark Overmars together deciding everything. Player contracts, contract extension, new signings, players to be sold. Everything was decided together. Erik Ten Hag and Mark Overmars. The relationship was amazing. They had interviews together on the Telegraph, speaking in Dutch press, speaking together on new signings, on strategies. So this is how he's used to work. And it's really important for Man United to back him and to trust his ideas and not just to appoint him and then having the board doing what they want. But I'm sure that if they go for Ten Hag, as they are doing, they want him to have the power to decide many things. And I'm also sure that if it will be Erik Ten Hag as we expect, Bruno Fernandes' decision has already been approved also by Erik Ten Hag, I'm sure.
I want to go just a little bit closer to your home before we move on to the next topic. I think the importance of football men being given football decisions can be highlighted with AC Milan. You see the job that Maldini has done, nearly halved the wage bill. Is that right?
Yes.
Nearly half the wage bill and performing really well on the pitch. How's he done that?
He's been fantastic. Imagine that when Paolo Maldini arrived as AC Milan new director, the situation was terrible, but really terrible. I still remember one game they were losing 5-0 with Atalanta in Bergamo, and was the worst moment of AC Milan recent history. Something really terrible. They were not playing Champions League since 9 years, and this AC Milan. AC Milan, they have 6 Champions Leagues, and imagine they were not playing Champions League for 9 years. So it's crazy. But what happened? Paolo Maldini changed everything in the strategy. I agree with you, Steve. This is a very good example for European clubs. He changed the strategy, like not signing players by agent relationships. He built his own strategy, and so wanted to sign players not going to decide on who is their agent. For example, Donnarumma. Donnarumma was a symbol for AC Milan. He was growing up in the academy. And then they decided, okay, if you want to go, we're not going to pay crazy money, crazy salaries. Go. They signed Maignan, and he's doing fantastic in Serie A. Fikayo Tomori, top signing from Chelsea. They trusted him and they wanted him. Theo Hernandez, no one wanted him from Real Madrid on loan. They decided to pay 20 million, and now his value is like 80 million. So it's crazy. They're deciding on every single signing with Paolo Maldini having power, and this is how you rebuild a top club with a top badge, top history, but you need something fresh, and what Maldini is doing with AC Milan is simply perfect, I think.
I got one more actually. I know Steve won't mind this one. Still on the United topic before we move on. A lot of United talk here. PSG have made an official bid for Paul Pogba. This is what we're understanding. First of all, is that true or not? And we're hearing that the valuation is lower than the package that United would have wanted. So can you elaborate more on that, please? Because I thought he was going on a free.
Of course, he's going on a free, but when players are going on a free, you have always commission, you have salaries. Then, let me say, it's not because it's Raiola, but always people on the press, when it's Mino Raiola, they say, yeah, the salary will be crazy, the commission will be crazy. But it's the same when Barcelona want Lewandowski, it's the same when other players that are not from Mino Raiola are negotiating. So it's normal. It's absolutely normal to have this kind of commissions of crazy sometimes commissions for top players that are going on a free. And this is what's happening. This is why for Pogba, talking about Paris Saint-Germain, I'm told that there is an interest, that Paris Saint-Germain are exploring the situation, but still no official bid on the table. So they're in conversation to understand the situation, but they still don't know who will be the manager of Paris Saint-Germain next season. What happens with Leonardo, what they will decide about the manager. And so this is why they're waiting before signing new players. They're exploring the market in this moment, but they're not signing any player because they want to make sure that the future manager will approve these signings. I think the message from Paris Saint-Germain was really clear. Last summer, they signed the best players on the market, but then it was not working. Even in the dressing room, they had many problems. And then on the pitch, we see what happened in Champions League. So it was not working. It's important to have a clear strategy. And so this is why for Pogba, they are exploring the market. He's French. He would be perfect signing for PSG. But at the moment, we are still at the early stages. Pogba will decide his future at the end of the season, not now. It's going to take some weeks before he will make a decision. And let's see what Manchester United will decide to do.
Sling it. Done. Over it.
Yeah. All right, so let's move it along. So it looks like we've actually got some good news for Haaland for Steve. Looks like he's going to be heading to Manchester City. They look like the clear favourites. Can you elaborate on that, please, Fab?
Still the same on Erling Haaland. He needs to decide. Man City are prepared to pay. Real Madrid are prepared to pay. Barcelona and Bayern behind the scenes are still trying and pushing and trying to find a way to do it, but they are clearly behind Manchester City and Real Madrid. The best financial proposal is from Manchester City. So on financial side, they're doing the best financial proposal. But talking about salary and many other details. But let me say that it's not just about money, because sometimes I see on this Haaland story that they say about, again, commission, payment to his father, his agent. But Erling Haaland has never been deciding about salaries. If he wanted, he had the chance to go to Juventus, and he said, no, I go to Salzburg. And then the same happened when he had the chance, you remember, Steve, to go to Manchester United. It was really close with Solskjaer pushing and pushing, but then he said, I prefer to go to Borussia Dortmund. And salaries were completely different. So he's not deciding about the salary, it's about the project. So Pep Guardiola is really attracting him, but Real Madrid are pushing and pushing again. So I'm sure that in a few weeks we'll have the final answer of Erling Haaland. It's not going to take long.
This is going to be an absolute saga.
It is this summer. Oh, man. Steve.
It will be resolved before the summer, let me say, yeah? Before June or July, I'm sure. A few weeks.
You know what? I just have to say, I haven't seen Steve smile like this for a few weeks. Throughout the whole video today, he's just been grinning a little bit.
I can't tell you why. I got a text before. That's just...
Really? You keep doing this to the people. Last week, you had a Gareth Bale story. You didn't say. You told me offline. but you didn't say online. And now
I like how you put that in the notes, by the way.
What'd you say? Yeah. We had to. But let's move it along actually to Gareth Bale. We were speaking about it last week briefly with Steve and yourself, Fabrizio. Bale will be leaving Real Madrid on a free. We know this. His agent said Bale deserves a grand farewell by the club. Florentino has always supported him. Bale loves the city of Madrid and Real a lot. Parasites are the ones that speak ill of him. Could we see him returning to the Premier League by any chance?
I think there are chances. As Steve said, there are chances for him to explore this possibility. I'm told that the final choice by Gareth Bale will not be now. He wants to wait a bit and then see in the coming weeks what's next. So he's not deciding in April. So he's taking his time. But I think it's a possibility. I think the boy is very open. He's not in a rush. He seems pretty relaxed on his future. So I don't see Gareth Bale deciding in a few days or in a few weeks. But I think it's a possibility. He was really happy to come back to the Premier League when he had the opportunity with Tottenham last year. And so I'm sure that it's a possibility that he will consider. And he will 100% leave Real Madrid, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
I think Steve knows more than me on Gareth Bale, but I don't know if
he does, to be honest. And this time he does. Before we get into the Fabrizio questions from the audience, when it comes to Chelsea, it's terrible result for them against Real Madrid. Just bad stuff. How will they be conducting their business? Is that clearer yet for how they will be conducting it this summer?
It's a really crazy situation, let me say. I think Thomas Tuchel is never using this as an excuse, but the reality is that what's happening behind the scenes and out of the pitch is creating a problem. There is no club at the moment. No one is deciding anything. So it's Thomas Tuchel and his players. Stop. That's it. They are alone fighting, but you need a structure to perform on the pitch also sometimes. And so I think they're doing a miracle, honestly, because it's really difficult to continue like this. We hope and we're sure that in a few weeks the situation will be resolved with new owners, and so they will have the possibility to negotiate with some players, to meet with Tony Rudiger agents and try to make another attempt to keep the player at the club. But it will be up to the new owners. At the moment, they can't do anything, and they're missing on opportunities because Rafinha from Leeds is a player that they wanted, they were negotiating, and they're not able to do anything now. And so the player is speaking with other clubs. Koundé from Sevilla is a centre back they wanted since last summer. They wanted to sign him this summer too, but at the moment everything is in standby. Slonina, talented boy from the USA, from Chicago Fire, they want to sign him and nothing is going on. So, they are in real standby, and this is crazy for Chelsea. So I'm sure that in a few weeks the situation will get better. But as of today, I think it's already a miracle not to lose 3-0 or 4-0 with Real Madrid. But it's not about the players, and it's not about the manager. It's about the whole atmosphere around the club.
Look, This is a transfer show, but can I just give a massive shout out to Benzema? Broke his fast about 15 minutes before going and absolutely owning Chelsea.
I agree. 100%.
Yeah, one of the best to do it, man. And it's about time that he gets the recognition he deserves. Football heads know he's always been up there, but I think the world is starting to see it more now. So
Micah Richards,
that comment, mate. Oh, did you see him on Twitter yesterday with Rio? Bits, man. Anyway, Steve, can you read out the fan questions for this week, please?
Yep, 1 second. Let me grab them.
Can you find them this week?
Right. Aran says, question for Mr. Romano. He's gone formal. Everyone else has just called you Fab. Do you have any dark horses for summer transfer window? Any clubs that might surprise everyone and unexpectedly pull off a few great signings?
Good question. For example, in Spain, I expect Atletico Madrid to be always, as they always did, some surprising signing. So I think Atletico Madrid could be one of the options. In the Premier League, good question. At the moment, the most difficult club to track on transfers is Arsenal, because, Joe, you know very well, but they depend on Champions League football. And so this is why they are waiting before jumping into concrete negotiations. But if they will be in Champions League, I'm really curious to see this transfer window for Arsenal, because last year they were needed to rebuild something, but this summer, if they will get Champions League football, will be time for the next step, to sign important players ready to make the difference in attacking and position, and even a new midfielder, they need him. So this is why I would say Arsenal.
Okay.
Next one we've got there from Talha Malik. It says, question for Fab. Does he suspect Arsenal will offer Lacazette an extension? And does he have options abroad? If so, which clubs?
He has some option. His agents are already exploring some options in France. With Lyon, they want him. In Italy, he has some possibilities. They were speaking with AC Milan, but they're going on Divock Origi, so at the moment nothing is going on. But some other possibility in Italy, in Spain. They're exploring possibilities, but they have a meeting with Arsenal decided in May. It will be in May. They will meet face by face and decide together what is the right decision to take. So at the moment, it's still open, but I can't say that he's 100% leaving. But the feeling, for example, a few months ago was for him to leave and to try something new. So this has always been the feeling, but let's see how this meeting will go.
I can't believe how late players and clubs leave this. Like Gareth Bale, Pogba, it's like, I'll just wait, see what happens. I don't know. Like, I will leave it till like June and figure it out. It's insane. Andrew says, quick question for Fab the man. How have Chelsea managed to trigger a 1-year extension for Azpilicueta when the club's under sanction is imposed by the UK government?
No, you can do it because if the contracts are already agreed, and so it's not something agreed now or signed now, but it's something that was already agreed in the contract of Azpilicueta. It's like when there are the add-ons or bonuses into the contracts. It's absolutely normal. You have to pay and you have to respect what was in the contract. So it's not a new contract. It's just an extension. It was a clause that was agreed years ago. He had the appearances he would need it to do this, to have this extension. And so now Azpilicueta contract is until June 2023. Barcelona are still pushing. Barcelona are still calling and pushing to have Azpilicueta. They hope to be able to negotiate with Chelsea board in the coming weeks and to sign Cesar Azpilicueta, but it will be up to the player.
And first name, last name, with the last one, it says, as Fabrizio.
First name, last name. How does he do this? Hey, go on.
Any chance of Patrick Schick coming to United?
Oh, good name. At the moment, I have no update on this one, but could be a good name. Could be a very good one. Oh, of course, Rangnick knows him very well. We have to see what kind of striker Man United will decide to sign, because it depends on the skills, as we always say, if they want a traditional number 9 or different kind of number 9. And I think Patrick Schick is part of this different kind of number 9, modern kind of number 9. But let's see. At the moment, I have no updates on this one, but why not, I would say. It's just my opinion. It's kind of striker that could be interesting to see and to follow in the summer.
I think Darwin Núñez did no harm this week whatsoever with his performance midweek. And that's what's good about the Champions League. You see players just putting themselves in the shop window in that sense.
Top striker.
Yeah, top striker. We're not getting him.
Yeah. Guys, thank you very much. For this week's episode. It's in a weird way, it's good to see Steve smile a little bit. He started getting a little bit miserable, but I don't want you smiling too much, mate. You still got one Arsenal at the end of the season. Fab, thank you for your time. Guys, you watching, please make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe. It's not just something we say. We really need you guys to do it. Turn on your notifications. We've got some banging content. We just did a video with Jermaine Defoe, and it was absolutely brilliant.
You speak to my mum, and I used to roll my socks in the house, and just like I used to get like a chair, right? I used to get like a chair and the 2 legs. I say, right, that's the goal. And then what I used to do, it's so funny thing about it. So I used to throw it against, if I had a ball, I used to throw it against the wall and I'd volley it. Small target. So when I think about it now, even little things like that, that's helping your development. Do you know what I mean?
Insight is incredible. We'll be back next week on Gazzetta Dello FIVE. Peace.